What's going on, people? Back with a bang. This is the Money Management, back here to bring you guys another recap of this past week of trading. So this was a very interesting week, a very frantic week, pretty much a red week overall, but in regards to trading, specifically our trades in the Discord, we definitely went off. We hit it big with a few different stocks and options, which I'm going to show you guys later in the video. We did a lot of different kind of trades. We got, shaken out by a few different trades, got tricked by a few different trades. It was all there. So we're going to dive into that in a few minutes. But first, I want to let you guys know, if you guys are on this channel, make sure you guys drop the thumbs up and like this video. Also, make sure you guys comment, let me know your thoughts on the video. Let me know your thoughts on what kind of videos you would like to see. Also, maybe if you want to let me know some stocks to watch, some stocks to list for next video, that kind of stuff. And I would like to say, if you have not subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe. Hit the red button below. It doesn't cost you anything. Make sure you guys subscribe because it helps me with the algorithm. It helps me with my growth, of course. And overall, it's just a good thing to do. You'll see more videos like this. So in regards to trading this week, like I said, it was kind of a red week overall, but that was because a lot of stocks did drop. But at the same time, as you guys know, when stocks drop, what can we do? Buy puts. Buying puts definitely helped us this week. So we hit it off with a few different trades, which I'm going to dive into. But first, I'd like to say, this upcoming week, be careful. It looks like it could be another red week with new lockdown rules. England, I've seen a few different bits of news. Around Europe, I've seen different bits of news. You've got to be careful. Lockdown seems to be creeping up on us again. I'm talking about full lockdowns. So you've got to be wary of how the market reacts to that. In addition, it is obviously Christmas week. Next week, Saturday, a week from today, is Christmas Day. And in anticipation of Christmas, we're expecting a Santa rally. Is that what's going to happen? I doubt it. But I just wanted to put that out there for you guys so you guys can at least keep it in mind. So this past week, what was it? What happened? Well, actually, I only traded about one, maybe two options each and every day. That was the max. I never went more than two options in a single day. And it was pretty effective. It was pretty efficient. I tried to use a different trading method, which included three different indicators to help me with day trading. That included the EMA 8, the SMA 20, and the SMA 200. It was a pretty effective strategy. And to start off with, we traded ORCL Puts. Well, at least I've sent a call out for ORCL Puts. Now, funny enough, it started off weird. It didn't really go to plan. But by Friday, these ORCL Puts were in the money and brought back, well, for us, amazing returns, but for those who got in later, even crazier returns. Now, this is kind of rare because usually, as you get close to expiry, your options are going to drain and become worth less and less. But in this case, well, that was the case. But then by Friday, what happened? ORCL dropped 5%, 6%, and our contracts were in the money. Now, once this happens, of course, that's when the bag runs up. So that's why I said, if you got in super late, like Thursday, when it was less likely to happen, you made a good bag off this. If you got in when we got in, well, you're still left with healthy returns, 70, 80% overall, maybe even more than that. Because Friday it opened and we were over 100% returns. So that was a great play. But also, there are other plays which were tougher. Lucid, we tried to play Lucid puts. First day, we were good. Guess what happened? The next day, Lucid started to rise. So we cut out, we wanted to limit our losses. A couple of days later, Lucid starts to rise again. We're like, you know what? We could get some call options on this. It's starting to pump again. Before you know it, it's turned away and it's going down again. And the original Lucid call out for the puts would have been in the money and we would have made great money off those. But again, that's one of those things that just happens. Sometimes you got to take your profits earlier. Sometimes you got to have more faith in your option. It's just one of those things. Now, for my play of the week, my favorite play this past week, it has to be AFRM. And it's for two different reasons. One, obviously because it brought back stupid returns. But two, because we actually had placed the opposite call before we bought the puts. So what I'm saying here is, what we originally planned to do didn't work out and we pivoted to a different method. So here we placed the call option for AFRM and these were the $111 calls expiring Friday. But what happened? AFRM started downtrending, it broke support, it fell under all three of my moving averages and I thought, you know what, let's jump into these puts because it looks like it's going to bleed. It was free falling and we got in around $108 and then it sold off to lows of around $92, all the way down. Of course, these puts went crazy. And so not only did we get our original money back, but we also made more than that. So it was like we robbed the bank with this one. So AFRM puts really did well. But what do I want to highlight here? Two things. First of all, no one did cut your losses. If we didn't cut our losses on the AFRM calls quick enough, we could have ended up losing a lot of, in fact, we would have ended up losing a lot of money. Second of all, don't be afraid to follow the trend because that is a very useful strategy. It's a strategy I've used for many months now. Following the trend is very useful. And you know what? I'm going to add a third point too. Make sure you guys actually watch your trades when you're day trading because guess what? The trade can go a different way to you expect and you're going to have to think on the fly and act on the fly. And that's exactly what we did. So you're now probably thinking, oh, what's the next play? What's going to drop next? Or what can we make money off next? To be honest, potentially AFRM again. And it could be with calls or puts. Now you're going to have to watch the chart. I'm thinking calls for a brief period of time. But guess what? If it hits resistance and it starts dropping, or if it doesn't even rise up and starts falling, free falling again, jump in on those puts. Look at the $95 puts. If you want to go a little bit safer, look at the $98 puts. If you want to take more risk, look at the $93, $92 puts. But I do think AFRM could be another great play going into next week. Also, make sure you guys have a look at SPY this upcoming week. Like I mentioned, Corona news is out there. You know, travel restrictions, the Omicron variant. I don't know why I always say Omicron variant, I believe. Or Omicron, I don't even know. But that variant is actually bringing up numbers, COVID numbers, and causing more panic, causing more stress, and stopping people from traveling. So be wary of how the market reacts going into next week. I'm thinking again, is puts. If you like trading indexes, SPY or QQQ, look at the puts on them. Just be wary of the market pulling back even more than it has done recently. Also, check out different stocks like Apple, Walmart, I put out there. I'd put Salesforce out there. And honestly, I would say puts for all three. You can, if you want to, start trading stocks like the COVID stocks. So for example, Moderna, Pfizer, NVAX, because these are gonna probably rise. These are probably gonna rise. I mean, there's no guarantee, but they're probably gonna rise, right? When we hear bad news and you see lots of stocks just falling, and especially when it's to do with the vaccine and COVID, well, you see those three stocks usually start rising. There's a couple other ones as well, but you guys are gonna have to think on the fly and start acting on the fly. I don't actually trade vaccine stocks a lot, but if there's money to be made there, why not trade them? If there's money to be made in any kind of sector, why not trade it? If tech is flying, tech is on the run, why not trade it? Why not place your trades off specific news? And speaking of specific news, have you guys checked out Zoom, ticker symbol ZM right now? That zoomed yesterday, no pun intended. It flew up almost 10%, and now it's sitting around $200. I'm thinking that next week it continues. But a couple of things I want to point out. Today, the CEO sold about, I think, $70 million worth of shares, which is kind of interesting. Second part, next week, if we hear more news about lockdowns and staying at home and all that kind of stuff, you guys know about Zoom. You guys know what Zoom did during the pandemic. If you don't know what it did, it started to fly. It started to move up during the pandemic when there were more lockdowns. And I think we could see the same thing next week. Also, like I said before, Omicron variants are rising. The numbers for Omicron variants are rising. And that's kind of contributing to this negative news around most stocks. Zoom is one that doesn't seem to look like it will be affected by that. And it's slightly up after hours. It's definitely one that's high on my radar next week. Overall, I think the way we're trading right now, with the group, with people who are trading with me, with whoever's trading and they're succeeding and finding good plays, if you're in that position, then you kind of need to try and keep that up. And what I mean by that is, keep doing what you're doing. Don't start trying to say, you know what, I'm going to go and try and swing crypto plays. I'm going to try and go the opposite way to the market just because I feel like it. Nah, keep doing what you're doing. If you're being very efficient with puts, stick with that while the market does sell off. If you've been very efficient with sniping, with day trades, with scalping, keep that up. Don't change your strategy now. This is a tough market to trade. This is, I'd say most of the time, 4 days or 3 or 4 days out a week, it's a scalper's market. It's those quick trades. It's those trades where you have to think on the fly and act on the fly. That's what it looks like right now. But overall, I think we have a lot of potential to finish this year strong. If you're smart with your trades, if you're comfortable with taking losses, but you're also comfortable with taking risk, and you limit your losses, you manage your risk, you should be good. Now, I briefly want to touch on one thing, a very important thing. Over the past couple of weeks, I've done something I don't usually do, and that is try a couple earnings plays. So this past week, I want to talk about FedEx, because Thursday after hours, FedEx announced earnings. I told you guys this in last week's videos a couple of times. We're anticipating FedEx earnings, and we're anticipating FedEx dropping. So we wanted to buy puts. That was the play. And I put in so many different orders to buy FedEx puts. But guess what? I put in about $620 into the FedEx earnings. And this is exactly why I don't trade earnings. Within 2 minutes of market closing, FedEx shot up like $13, $14, just like that. Obviously, next morning, that money that I put in is gone. So what is my point here? What am I trying to say? Well, anything can happen with earnings. You might anticipate a drop and the stock flies, it rallies. You might anticipate a stock flying, even though they beat earnings, even though they have a good earnings, just like DocuSign a couple of weeks ago, decent earnings, and the stock sells off, it tanks. Earnings is unpredictable. So one, manage your risk. 2, risk money that you can actually afford to lose, which is what I did. 3, make sure that you protect yourself. So what I'm saying here is maybe buy a call and a put. Maybe buy an in the money call or a put. Maybe don't trade earnings at all. Maybe trade the run up to earnings. These are a few different things you can do to protect yourself when you're trying to trade earnings if you want to be a part of earnings plays. Personally, when it comes to holding through earnings now, I'm going to go back to the way I've been for the past couple of years. Not trading earnings, not holding. That's my best method. That's my best strategy. Will I trade earnings run-ups? Most likely. You know, Nike have earnings this upcoming Monday. CCL, Carnival Cruise Lines, have earnings this upcoming Monday. If I can day trade both of those on Monday, then by all means, why not? But there's no point me holding until after hours and holding until Tuesday when I don't know what could be happening. And speaking of Tuesday, it looks like Biden could be coming out and talking about COVID Tuesday. So that's another day you probably don't want to trade. You're probably best off just sitting back and watching the market. And I personally think when it comes to speaking, whether it's Powell or Biden or whoever, you got FOMC meetings, just try not to trade anything until they've spoken. Try that. It just helps you a lot more. Save yourself some money, and honestly, you're going to be better off just waiting. Trying to anticipate what's going to happen here or there is difficult because it's similar to playing earnings. The stock just does whatever. SPY might just start rallying right as they speak. I mean, you don't know, so you just got to kind of be wary of that kind of thing. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Hopefully you guys now understand a few good things and bad things about playing earnings if you didn't already before this video. Also make sure you guys are back here next time for another video because I'm going to upload a few stocks to watch this week based on news, based on technical analysis, that sort of thing, just the usual. Of course, the full watch list will be available in the Discord. You guys know where to find that. And lastly, I want to say, make sure you guys take a break. When it comes to trading, take a break. If you need a couple of days before Christmas, by all means do so. If you want to skip the first couple of days of this week, by all means do so. I mean, I'll definitely still be looking at Nike and CCL earnings, but I'm just saying in general, if you need to, if you feel like it, feel free to take a break. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. That is it from me. I got into making, you got into making. See you guys next time for another video. Peace. Game.